Y'all already know it's Super Saturday, 8 a.m. You know what I mean? Central. Color people time. Meaning I'm not late. I'm always on time. Anyways, y'all know how we gonna do. We got some videos to talk about today. Y'all see the video topic of the day is why Universe 6 should be the next movie. Yeah, movie. Forget series. It's going to be a movie. As a matter of fact, it might be a couple movies. It might be a movie series. Why? Because, it'll be good money. As long as they have somewhat good writing to it, it should, as we like to say, pop. You know what I mean? Shouts out to that being a popping topic and trending story. Because it will. I mean, Vegeta going to Universe 6, it's all types of stuff that we're going to get into behind that. But let's go ahead and break down a couple fan-made mangas and opinions. And then we got some Toyotaro information from our dude Geekdom. Shout out to Danny over at Geekdom 101. Y'all know to go check out the original content creators that we be putting y'all up on because that's what we do, right? Yeah, that's what we do. We gonna put you up on games so that way y'all know who to pull up on, man. That way you ain't gotta wait for Super Saturday to get y'all information. Y'all can just come in and chit chat with me, like, man, what's this guy got to say about it? What does this button do? It hits the play all. Yeah, that way we can have our show rolling while I'm rolling.
Vidal stepped into the ring thinking she was ready. She wasn't. Spopovich gets knocked down. She presses hard. Under normal rules, match over. But this man snapped his own neck back into place, just stood up, like it was nothing. That's when the fight started. He kicked her, slammed her, punched her stomach over and over, and when she nearly blacked out, he caught her, because he wasn't done. He used her face like a punching bag, then grabbed her by the hair, then placed his foot on her skull and slowly pressed down. Vidal cried. Goku already knew. He told Gohan to make her quit, but she wouldn't, and Gohan, watching every second of this, was starting to lose it. The only reason she survived, Yamu told Spopovich to stop. People forget how brutal the Majin Buu saga actually was. This fight is proof.
I mean, then they both got blown the fuck up for doing the job that they were supposed to do.
Don't forget to leave a like if you're stopping by, and if you are new to the Geekdom 101 YouTube channel, remember to hit the subscribe button and enable all notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Here we cover the news and lore and history. I'm talking movies, anime, manga, and even some video games too. We've been here over 11 years and much more to come. I thank you for changing my life and your continued support. Did Toyotaro accidentally leak a major clue for the next big Dragon Ball Super storyline? Okay, before we get into this, make sure you watch this video all the way to the end and listen carefully so that you get all the proper information, because there's going to be a lot of misinformation out there.
What up,
People
big
love to
homie?
take the
Appreciate you
story and
stopping by and
twist it
saying
or
hi.
misreport it or
Y'all
get it
gotta go
wrong.
check out bro. He's also
And you know how
live right
much it
now
annoys
too.
me when I see that on social media. So please make sure that you
devices
stand by
networking.
and check out the entire video all the way to the end so you have a complete understanding of what happened here. Okay, so let's get into it. The Dragon Ball Super manga volume 24 came out in Japan last year and came out in around the world shortly after that. Volume 24 is the final chapters that were written right around the death of Akira Toriyama, and that bonus chapter we got last year with Clean God.
Go check out all his YouTube channels because we
At
got
this
50
point,
of them.
that last volume 24 is the final volume. Now, recently, the version of volume 24 came out in Spain, and the Spain version has a different piece of line art than the one from the rest of the world. And as you can see right there, there's a picture of what appears to be OG-73. Now, let me explain a little bit about this side art. Toyotaro revealed in an interview about 3 years ago, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, on the official Dragon Ball site with Victor Uchida, that he pre-draws all of the spine art. That he sort of draws it all ahead of time before it actually makes print. Now, how far ahead he is on this, that we don't know. We don't know if he's got the next 3 or 4 or 5 volumes already written, or if he's just got a couple of ideas in his head. He doesn't know how he's going to incorporate them yet. Here's what I want to tell you. The fact that the Spain version is essentially giving us a preview of the next spine art for what essentially really is volume 25, which is going to encompass Dragon Ball Super chapters 105 to whatever, however far they go, depending on when that ever comes out, when the manga does return. It seems to have led people to think that this is teasing the return of OG-73. And while a lot of folks have wondered, because the last time that we even saw OG-73 was at the beginning of the Granola arc, when we found out there were tons and tons of clones of OG-73, and sort of the Moro arc transitioned right into the Granola arc, with, of course, the head being left there and whatnot. So
high quality H2O.
That makes sense. Now, something I want to make clear is it does seem likely, based on the positioning of these characters and where that yellow, see that yellow sort of beam that's supposed to be the cloud there, right under OG-73, like right above his feet? This is definitely the art for the next volume. So no matter what, somebody printed the wrong piece of art and put it there. Now, does this mean that OG-73 is indeed going to be coming back? I thought that maybe it was forgotten about, because remember, the superhero arc was after the Granola arc, and they were still releasing volumes featuring characters like Moro and Sagambo, as you can see on your screen right there. Not necessarily those from the arc.
Bro says fire in the hole.
Let me explain and make it very clear. It does not necessarily mean that's what's going on, and I have evidence for you to actually go through. I do believe that this was a legitimate leak. I do think that somebody messed up and put the wrong spine art on volume 24. That much is true, but it is not a spoiler for what the next story arc is going to be necessarily. Now, there may be something with OG-73, or maybe the origin of the clones or any of that, but I have evidence to prove otherwise, and that is if you look at the spine art of the original Dragon Ball manga. As you can see on your screen right here, from volume 1 all the way to volume 42, you've got one continuous, character-like art from Toriyama going all the way across. Now, it's a beautiful piece of art, but in no way does it match up with its correlating manga story. For example, if you look at the bottom row down here, you've got Cell, you've got 17, 18, 16, and then Goku. When by the time we get to these last 30s or so volumes, we're in the Majin Buu saga. And see, there's no Majin Buu. So, I mean, that right there is an example of, no, it's not correlating. Like, if I pick up volume 38 of the manga, 16's not in that volume. We're way past that already, right? This art may have been pre-drawn, not too far ahead of time, before the print of the actual individual volumes. I'm sure Toriyama pre-drew a lot of this, and Toyotaro probably did too. But it wasn't like when he drew it that he knew when he was going to end the series, what was coming. It wasn't like the whole thing was mapped out years in advance. We've gone over this already, and same thing goes for what Toyotaro did. So just because we see OG-73 on the back of this chapter, of this volume, on the side of this volume, that does not mean that he's going to be coming back for the next story. In fact, it probably does not mean that, because look at volume 23. Sagambo's there from the Moro arc, and he was nowhere to be found. Volume 23 was superhero stuff. So the spine art does not match up with the storyline within the pages. And it's pretty interesting. But this was not an April Fool's gag. This was a legitimate printing error. And we know this because Sekai DB, the person who first broke this story and who's in Spain, already had a copy of Volume 23 and noted that the spine art for Volume 23 was the one that was being released for Volume 24. Therefore, that misprint was already coming when Volume 23 was coming out. So the speculation, even from Sekai DB going back to November, was are they going to just put black space there? Are they going to just finish that character? Or is it going to be another character? Like, they didn't know. But we knew that whatever the side piece was going to be for Volume 24 would end up being the art for Volume 25. So, long story short, yes, this was a legitimate misprint. Yes, that side panel is probably going to be the legitimate piece of art whenever Volume 25 of Dragon Ball Super comes out, which won't be for a while because, remember, the chapters themselves have to come out first before they come out in a collected volume. So even if Super were to come back next month, right, they would have to wait until enough chapters came out to fill up the volume book and then release it with the art on the side. So yes, I do think it was a legitimate misprint, a legitimate accidental leak. In fact, I'm sure it was. I'm positive it was. But it does not mean that OG73 is coming back. All it means is that they're already planning more volumes after Volume 24, which we already knew because they kept saying, oh, Dragon Ball Super's not done. It's on hiatus. We kept hearing that over and over and over again. And there have been new rumors up now, going around right now, about a possible announcement in May. I don't want to address that, though, because, once again, it's not something that I've been able to multi-source. Therefore, I choose it's best not to leak these things or even discuss the possibility of them more than what I'm doing on this video, because on this video, at least we know that there is going to be a Volume 25. Like, we know that, right? So it's not like it's a big surprise. And I don't want to discuss any of these rumors necessarily, because if plans change, it's just not going to be a good look. So I'd rather just say there's people saying they think it's going to be next month. I've heard somebody say they think it's going to be later in the year. I guess next month is later in the year. All I'm going to tell you is keep it locked into my channel, because once we get the announcement, once I know, I will for certain let you know. And if I'm able to multi-source it ahead of time, I'll probably do a stream or a video about it. We shall see. So stay tuned for that. Once again, make sure you have all notifications enabled. And I hope you like this video. Check out the ones on your screen right now for more on the recent Dragon Ball news, what's going on with the Super anime and the manga for 2026 and beyond. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you real soon.
Great. A dramatic entrance. Wow, Piccolo's power has gone way up. All right, out of my way. That's funny. You haven't changed at all. What were you doing in there? Taking a nap?
Say that look when you taking her in the back room. Oh, yeah, cheeks for to get clapped.
You're watching
Oh, man.
Escape. This is Beerus, the god.
I'm not sure if I did these when these originally came out, but some of these are 4 to 5 years old. I know the older ones I didn't get a chance to do, but this goes back into our video topic.
On both Instagram and Twitter. Please, enough. On to the video. making it very clear to Goku following the events of their encounter with the doppelganging Ultra Instinct wielder, Vegeta has his mind set and venturing off into Universe 6 and specifically going to planet Sadala in regards to a big mission that seems to be putting the Saiyans in danger. The story of the Universe 6 Saiyans, specifically the Saiyans of planet Sadala, is now about to begin, and with Vegeta making his way into Universe 6, what kind of problem is the Prince of Saiyans from Universe 7 about to face, and are we bound to see an unexpected twist happen with Vegeta now finally having to make his way to planet Sadala? Now, before we dive any further into this video, if you're new to the channel and of course have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball and anime related, and want to be kept up to date with everything in regards to Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball Super manga, and everything involving the Dragon Ball IP, then I do encourage you guys to go on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a single video on this channel, as well as giving this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you guys are simply stoked, ready, and excited to see what the future holds in regards to the Dragon Ball franchise. And with all that being said, I want to thank you all so much for your support, and let's dive straight into the video. As our story kicks off on a remote planet by the name of Planet Aurelia, we get to see how there are several Saiyans overlooking what seems to be a giant group pile of dead organisms and dead individuals, with of course our Saiyans seemingly enough being stalked, because there appears to be unknown individuals that went along to do this, and as they did, one of the Saiyans went along to turn around by responding,
Alex
"Damn you space pirates, you are the scum of the universe. We Saiyans made it this far as a species because we are willing to die for our country. You'll never be able to replicate that." As one of the individuals went on to respond, "That's great to hear." As he wasted little time by shooting the Saiyan directly through the chest with an energy blast, it was only then made painfully clear that these individuals don't seem to want to be reasoned with or even have any sort of progressive conversation in having to sway their narrative, as they both went on to then comment, "So this was their most experienced warrior? What a joke." As the female representative went on to respond, "This Saiyan sort of resembles the Saiyan from GodTube, but he's too old. In fact, he sort of resembles one of the Saiyans from the 7th universe as well. But those Saiyans could activate a transformation that multiplied their power to amazing heights. This definitely isn't one of them." So these individuals, apparently enough, do in fact know of the Saiyans of Universe 7, as it is only then revealed that these individuals are none other than both Kamen and Orin. Yes, the same Kamen and Orin we've seen be debuted in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, with Orin responding, "Interesting," as Kamen then continues, "What's this? Looks like it's used to call for help. Looks like he has backup," says Orin. "Maybe this one can transform. Activate the distress signal." As one of the Saiyans on the ship went on to comment, "Man, he's taking forever. I'm not interested so far," says Orin. "This better be good. Don't worry." As the Saiyan is then informed via a beacon, as the machine went on to tell him there may have been 2 targets, but that still means he's outnumbered, with the Saiyan responding, "Alpha doesn't mind. He thinks I just get in his way anyways, and besides, I still get the credit even if I just show up at the last minute, so it's a win-win," because this Saiyan seems to be overly cocky. As the mechanical assistants went on to respond, "Maybe you wouldn't be a burden if you participated more." "No thanks, I prefer to live. Who cares about fighting and how strong you are if you're dead? I fight for fun, and preferably only when completely necessary." Alpha has activated his distress signal. "Seriously," says the Saiyan, "if he's in trouble, then there's probably not much I can do. Damn it, I'd better head down." And as he steps out, I absolutely love the level of tension, because this Saiyan clearly isn't someone that has pride. He really isn't someone that likes to battle, but instead, he is only then met by the body of Alpha on the ground, and as he sees him, Orin and Kamen are standing right behind him, as Orin went on to comment, "Some backup you were." And as this terrified Saiyan then goes on to turn around, Kamen and Orin both go on to acknowledge the Saiyan by telling him, "What a letdown. I really hope these two aren't the best the mighty Saiyan race has to offer." And this Saiyan, although weak, tries anyway, because as soon as he ends up charging on in, Kamen and Orin both double team him right down onto the ground, to where as they do, the Saiyan is then shown pleading for his life, as he went on to comment, "Please, don't kill me," as both Kamen and Orin are standing over him, and I can't seem to help but get similar vibes to Android 17 and 18, only because the way these two seem to be operating and the way they're carrying out this agenda, it would only appear as though they have something very, very sinister in mind. As we only then go back to Planet Sadala, we get to see how one of the characters, including what seems to be the king of Planet Sadala, goes on to comment, "Today is a dark day. My mentor, uncle, and our greatest royal training officer has been killed by 2 surviving Tuffles. As you know, he rejected the throne to fight on the front lines of the Sadala Defense Force. Alpha was the embodiment of what we as Saiyans believe in, what we strive to be, and without him, I would not be the proud warrior I am today. Fortunately, Alpha's longtime partner Skirat defeated those responsible for his death. We have gathered here today to reward him with a medal for his heroic act. We have also gathered here because Skirat has grave news and vital information. The Tuffles who are thought to have destroyed themselves in a civil war have returned, and more powerful than ever, and have plans for galactic conquest. 2 have been reported traveling the galaxy and leveling civilizations as rogue space pirates, but according to Skirad, there are even more survivors. Thank you, King Sadala, says Skirad. The Tuffle race, as we all know, had been expanding their territory, taking over natural reserve planets and harvesting them for energy, and developing their tech until they were a, quote, modern society, and then they would open their gates to the richest and most fortunate in the universe. We have info that can stop them for good. I received intel on their next target, our allies, the Guardians. Their planet is the biggest nature reserve in the universe, and as such is home to precious resources, vital to the Tuffles' efforts. As King Sadala responds, I have set up a meeting with the kings of the Guardians to discuss setting up a stronghold on their planet. In preparation for the invasion, I will be accompanied by Skirad and my elite guards, but in the meantime, Kaba, you will be in charge of training our forces in preparation for the invasion. But sir, Kaba says, I should be going with you. As Sadala responds, no, you are the only other Super Saiyan amongst us. You will teach our army to become Super Saiyans. Skirad thinks that it's the best way to prepare, and I agree. Sir, Kaba says, you know I've tried. Everyone always comes close, but they need a trigger. The only person who easily learned the technique behind becoming a Super Saiyan was Caulifla. Yes, Caulifla, says Sadala, and the demonic Saiyan of legend will certainly come in handy. Your relationship with them has served us well. In fact, history may have repeated itself without it. Tensions were never higher before then. A war against the demonic Saiyan has been prevented, and possibly the planet's destruction thanks to the Tournament of Power. Kaba, you have my permission to do whatever it takes to push the defense force to the next level. Understood, says Kaba, and with the king having to board his ship with his guards, Kaba then went on to respond, I know who we need. Lord Champa said he owed my master a favor. I bet he could bring him here. So the king is actually very thankful to Kaba in having to bring both Kale and Caulifla to the Tournament of Power in preventing the Great War against the demonic Saiyan Kale and having to basically get her to side with them. And as we then get to see how the Saiyans are now in space, King Sadala went on to comment, it works out great that the Guardians want to hire us to protect them. The Tuffles are a major threat to us all as well. They are definitely a major threat. As Sadala responds, at any rate, the Guardians are just the major ally. We must do everything to protect them as well. A Tuffle ship is approaching, says one of the Saiyans. This isn't good. The Tuffles have modified themselves to withstand the vacuum of space. We need to outrun them, and that's exactly what they attempted to do, as of course we get to see how the Saiyans are now fleeing from the Tuffles in space. As we only then go back to planet Sadala, we then finally get to see how Vegeta had finally made his way onto planet Sadala, and with Vegeta overseeing the entire city, he then went on to comment, so, this is Sadala. Champa's flying box brought me here quicker than I thought. And as soon as Vegeta then goes on to land down on his feet and having to observe the city, he then notices how a bunch of random Saiyans go on to approach him by having to ask, who are you? But Vegeta is eerily quiet, so I absolutely love how the entire fandom had wanted to see specifically Vegeta more than anyone else go to planet Sadala, and now that he's here, he's not only embarking on embracing the overall city and going down into the depths and taking a look at it for himself, only to then be met by a group of Saiyans. They then go on to ask, looks like one of Caulifla's crew. Caulifla is scary, but her goons are just a joke. You have 10 seconds to go back to your territory. As Vegeta responds, then, And that's exactly what these Saiyans tried to do, because as soon as they go on to bum rush Vegeta, Vegeta goes on to just effortlessly knock each and every single one of them away by one-shotting them all into the buildings and onto the floor itself. That's when Vegeta went on to comment, "What chumps. Get him," says one of the remaining Saiyans, because it looks like now Vegeta is most definitely about to be outnumbered and outmuscled by all of the remaining members that are on the planet right now. And as soon as we then get to see how there are dozens of Saiyans charging directly at Vegeta, Vegeta closes his eyes and immediately transforms to Super Saiyan, and that's when he winds up blowing each and every single one of them away. And as he did with such finesse, Vegeta went on to comment, "I sincerely hope that you weaklings aren't the elite of the great Sadala Defense Force." As he then went on to look on, Kaba unexpectedly noticed how Vegeta is in fact in the city, as he went on to utter, "Master?" And with Vegeta having to turn around and smiling, that's when the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of Planet Sadala fan manga special then comes to a close. Now, what I really enjoyed about this story was seeing how Jordan Lee and Monty Black were able to kind of put together this narrative of introducing this element of tension, only because Kamen and Orin weren't really that popular among Super Dragon Ball heroes. As a matter of fact, the most popular characters within that group wasn't in fact Kamen, Orin, or Lags, but it was Merge, Zamasu, Hearts, and Cumber. So to see how Jordan Lee and Monty Black were able to kind of throw them in here in making them semi-canon to the overall main story, in throwing them into this situation to where they're not really a direct threat to Universe 7, but more or less coinciding in being a direct threat to Universe 6, which I can't wait to see what the overall narrative behind them are going to be. So if you guys want to go on ahead and check this out yourself, then you guys can go on ahead and check out the official iTunes link, which I will link down in the description box below. However, you guys can also suggest your ideas and what it is that you guys want to see in this story down in the comment section below, because I'm fairly certain that both of them are going to watch this video, and I'm fairly certain that I will be speaking to them very soon. So if there's any concept idea or any battle or anything that you would like to see be a part of this current story, then I would like for you guys to drop your thoughts and your comments down below and let everyone know, specifically the creators of this story, know what you guys feel like would be the absolute best case scenario for the story going forward. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your time. I really enjoyed this, and I really do hope that they continue adding in the elements of tension and desperation and mystery, because I think that ultimately builds on top of the story that you're trying to tell. So I can't wait to see what's about to happen next, especially now seeing that Kaba had bumped into Vegeta. So again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your time. Tune back in for the next video, and we'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody, and take care. Peace. And a quick little reminder before you exit the video, if you guys are unaware, follow me on my secondary channels, which are also used to discuss and talk about all kinds of different subjects and topics, including gaming and live streams, beginning with Unreal Network, which is a channel dedicated in discussing all kinds of movies, breakdowns, current events, scary stories, theories, and more. So if you are someone who is into the entertainment world, then that's the channel for you. So head on over and subscribe over on Unreal Network, which up next is Unreal Vlogs, where I bring you guys a little closer into my life in taking you behind the scenes with vlogging content, parody videos, reactions, motivational videos, uplifting videos, and more. So if you want to get to know me on more of a personal level, then that's the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button to always be in the loop with Unreal Vlogs. And lastly, my gaming channel, Unreal Royale, where on that channel we dive more into the world of gaming, ranging from all different kinds of video games, from Dragon Ball to Resident Evil to Grand Theft Auto, Halo, Gears of War, Minecraft, all kinds of horror games, shooters, RPGs, and more, including live streams. So if you're a gamer and are into the gaming world, then smash that subscribe button over at Unreal Royale and experience the ride with me. I want to thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so very much for your support, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you in the next video.
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to Unrelent Gaming.
Also follow Unrelent Gaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead. Oh, did someone say Unrelent Gaming? Oh my god.
The fuck, someone? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes. Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Freezer,
Uh-oh.
prepare to die!
Unrelent Gaming! But once you get video, all lots of likes, or Bill will turn you into chocolate! Vados, get over here! Tell these mortals that I'm the biggest Unreal Gaming fan. This is my moment. I'm a part of his notification squad. Universe 7 can have all the fun. I just want the food.
And don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Show some love for the best community on YouTube.
How about the coup de grace, Piccolo? Over there!
Trunks is back.
Huh? Trunks? How bizarre. He has the same name as my son. Wait a second. A Super Saiyan from the future?
Have we met? You look so familiar.
Sorry, I can't say.
Tell us now, tough guy. Who are you?
I wish I could. Sorry.
Why do you keep looking over here? Haven't you ever seen a pink shirt before? If you like it that much, you can have it.
No, thank you.
I know you said, I ain't never
Knock
seen
it
dad
off,
for
kid.
real. And then you see this thing wearing pink.
Oh, of course.
You know
It
Bulma
has
was
to be.
trolling. You
He's
know she was
my
trolling that
son.
dude.
Unbelievable.
He's like, I done already met my son from the future, which pissed him off because he found out he was kind of a bitch. Not really a bitch.
The
but he
possibilities of
Vegeta
exploring
thinks
Universe
about it.
6 and Planet
Boy, you
Sadala have
having
been
problems?
tantalizingly in front of us for
I
more
had
than 5
problems too,
years
you
since
right.
first being introduced now.
You
Plenty
right,
of
like
Dragon Ball
Vegeta
Super
didn't have to
took the
fucking
time
go
to
up
shine
against
directly
Frieza,
on
right?
Universe 6.
Y'all right.
Its Saiyans, and in expanding the lore in many new and interesting ways. What new characters and arcs could be focused on, and what new challenges would befall the ones we already know. This story was written and illustrated by the forces of Blackbird Studios, including Jordan Durham, the creator of Dragon Ball Infinity. Follow him on all the social medias to get the first look of what they're up to. Today's shout out goes to Isaiah DeLeon and Ultimate Bazaar for finding the stone Master Roshi hid in the last video. Be the first to find the stone hidden in this video if you want a shout out in the next. Also, give a big welcome to Dan if you don't know him already. He's going to be helping out here with the video scripts from now on. A lot of you may already know him as the head mod on the Discord server, so give him some love and check out his own adventures using the links in the description. While the like button is trying to power up, lightly bop it on the nose with a newspaper to assert your dominance. In the Universe 6 counterpart of Planet Arlia, the world with all those bug people Vegeta and Nappa fought, it seems that another Saiyan has dished out a similar fate for the fighters of this world. As he catches his breath and calms his nerves, he looks upon the fallen warriors in front of him, when suddenly he feels an ominous presence from behind. Cursing the silhouette as a space pirate and the scum of the universe, he growls the Saiyans made it this far because of their willingness to die for their cause, something that isn't so easily replicated. The shadowy figure nonchalantly comments, "That's great to hear." A beam suddenly breaks the tension, piercing the stubble Saiyan's chest. Gasping out in pain, he drops to the floor. The entity scoffs to their companion. This was apparently the Saiyan's most experienced warrior. As pitiful as they find him, the second figure comments at the body in front of him. He seems to bear a resemblance to the Saiyan they saw on Gatsu, and he does look similar to the same race of Universe 7, though the female of the duo notes that he seems too old. Additionally, the Saiyans of the 7th universe possess an ability to transform and significantly magnify their power. The pair make their way into the light, revealing themselves to be Orin and Kami. If you've seen Super Dragon Ball Heroes, which I need to catch up on myself, you'll recognize these two as a modern take on Temple Parasites. Kami notices a distress beacon the Saiyan had with him, while Orin looks up and sees a ship floating in the sky. The brother guesses the Saiyan had backup and wonders aloud if he could possess the ability to transform. Orin tells his twin to activate the distress signal to bring him out of hiding, hoping it'll be good. Inside the spaceship, a young Saiyan complains about his partner taking forever. The ship's AI reminds its sole passenger there may have been only 2 targets, but that still means his comrade would be outnumbered, despite his strength. Expressing trust in his teammate, whose name is revealed to be Alpha, he jokes that he'd probably get in his way anyway. He's always been pretty vocal about having younger Saiyans sit out fights. But luckily, the youngster will still get credit for just showing up, so it's a win-win. proving even machines are capable of sick burns. The computer wonders aloud if the Saiyan wouldn't be so much of a burden if he just participated more. Presenting more of the alternate Saiyan race's peaceful nature, he expresses his disdain for fighting. I prefer to live. Who cares about fighting and how strong you are if you're dead? I fight for fun and only when it's necessary. Suddenly, the Saiyan's dashboard comes alive with an alert. The artificial intelligence explains that Alpha activated his distress signal. But as we know, the twin Tuffles are the actual source. Figuring if Alpha is in deep enough waters to call him for help, there probably isn't much that can be done to begin with. Letting his morals take over, he knows he needs to check up on him regardless. Not expecting much, the Saiyan exits his ship into the landscape. In a sad case of dramatic irony, he finds Alpha's body. Stunned, he can't help but choke out his ally's name in shock. Appearing behind him, the Tuffles sneer and mock the Saiyan how he couldn't save his comrade. He puts two and two together. Continuing to chastise him, they call the young warrior a letdown and are hoping these two are not the best the Saiyans have to offer. Please don't kill me! The twins only let out a sinister chuckle. As we cut back to planet Sadala, the Saiyan is revealed to have somehow miraculously survived in what we could assume to be the planet's capital. A Saiyan of royalty gives a ceremony mourning the death of Alpha, cursing the present as the dark day his mentor, uncle, and greatest royal training officer had been killed by two surviving Tuffles. He reveals that Alpha could have actually had the Saiyan throne for himself, but chose instead to fight on the front lines of Sadala's defensive forces, furthering he was the embodiment of what Saiyans believe in, what they strive as a people to be. Without him, he himself would not be the proud warrior he is today. The Royal Saiyan continues, revealing the name of Alpha's partner, Skura, who apparently had managed to defeat those responsible for Alpha's demise. How, though, is left up in the air. While this gathering wasn't part...
See, that could be one of the ongoing puns for the movie. Every freaking King Vegeta variant has got a different hairline. That's easy writing right there. That'd be an A+.
Reward Skura with a medal for heroism. It was also to unveil the information he managed to gather and the return of the Tuffles. Thought to have been destroyed in a civil war, they appear now to have plans of galactic conquest. The twins Skura encountered had been annihilating civilizations across the galaxy as rogue space pirates. But allegedly, there are even more survivors. Skura goes on, thanking King Sadala. The lesser explains the Tuffle race, as they all know, had been expanding their territory, taking over, quote, nature reserve planets and harvesting them for energy. They also developed the planet's technology until they're considered to be a modern society, just so they can sell off the worlds to the richest and most fortunate in the universe. Luckily, he has obtained information that can stop him. He's received intel that the Tuffle's next target is one of the Saiyan's allies, the Gardenians, who possess one of the biggest nature reserves in the galaxy. Because of this, it's home to tons of precious resources, most of which would prove vital for the Tuffle's conquest. King Sadala notes he's organized a meeting with the king of the Gardenians, the objective to discuss setting up a stronghold on their planet in preparation for the invasion. He himself will be accompanied by Skura and his own elite guards. But in the meantime, it's unveiled that Kappa is in attendance in this meeting. His king puts him in charge of training the Saiyan army in preparation for the Tuffles, to the young Saiyan's dismay. He makes the case he should accompany King Sadala instead, who disagrees, noting Kappa is the only Super Saiyan among them. Instead of joining the king, he should try and teach their army to become Super Saiyans themselves. This was proposed by Skura, showing that the young Saiyan does have his uses outside battle. Kappa knows training the army to transform is important, but he stresses that he's tried. People have come close, but they lack a trigger. The only person who easily transformed was Caulifla. No one else seems to share her knack for it. The king acknowledges Caulifla and Kale, referring to the latter as the demonic Saiyan of legend, saying they would certainly come in handy. Kappa's relationship with them has served their forces well. In fact, history may have repeated itself without it, as tensions had never been higher before then. A war against the demonic Saiyan has been prevented, and possibly the entire planet's destruction thanks to the Tournament of Power. The ruler gives Kappa his permission to push their forces to become Super Saiyans by any means necessary. With that, he boards the ship alongside of his guardsmen. Thinking to himself, he recognizes immediately who they need in a situation like this. And, Lord Champa owes Master Vegeta a favor, so he guesses he could have the God of Destruction pull some strings to get Vegeta's help in this matter. Out in space, King Sadala admits that it's quite convenient the Gardenians wanted to hire the Saiyans for protection against the Tuffles, as they pose a considerable threat against the Saiyans as well. His underling agrees, merely parodying this statement, though he puts a particular emphasis on the word they. The king stresses they are a major ally, and they should do everything in their power to protect him. A Tuffle ship is approaching! Sadala barks. The Tuffles have already modified themselves to withstand the vacuum of space. This isn't good. We have to outrun them. Back on Sadala, it seems Vegeta has already arrived in the alternate universe. Gazing at the city below, he finally gets to lay eyes on the planet for himself, noting how Champa's flying box got him here quicker than he thought it would. Touching down in the city. It isn't long before his presence is noticed by the locals. Confronting him, the pair of Saiyans take exception to his presence. One theorizing he looks like one of Caulifla's crew. The other adding, while Caulifla herself is scary, her goons are a joke, shouting he has 10 seconds to get back to his own territory. But the prince of another universe merely scoffs. If it's such an issue, they can make him leave.
Plus, Vegeta wants some action.
Dispatching of the grunts is about as easy as one would assume. The Saiyan simply rolls his eyes at what chumps these thugs are. Get him! With what seems to be an entire army closing in on him, Vegeta doesn't so much as move a muscle. Instead, his hair begins to glow, letting loose a powerful Super Saiyan shockwave. Vegeta hopes these warriors aren't the elites of the Great Sadala Defensive Force. Having heard the nearby ruckus, Kappa finds his mentor standing over the unconscious Saiyans he's supposed to be teaching. Taken aback by the sight, he calls out to Vegeta, who only needs to give the young Saiyan a smirk. Seeing his pupil for the first time since the Tournament of Power. What hidden purposes, besides the obvious, could the Saiyan Prince have in coming here? And how will Kappa balance this situation?
Let's talk about the tingling feeling that Saiyans get in the back. This is something that I should have discussed a long time ago because like anything that Dragon Ball fans hate on is just always due to a lack of understanding. Pay attention to how Kaba is trying to teach Caulifla how to go Super Saiyan. The method that he uses is the same method that all Saiyans have used up to this point, trying to trigger a reaction via rage. And of course, this fails. He tries to make Caulifla angry and it doesn't work. Caulifla did ask, do you have to be angry every time you transform? And Kaba's like, no, once you get used to it, you just kind of focus your strength to the center of your back. Caulifla takes this information and then tries to replicate the sensation, and then she achieves Super Saiyan. All she did was replicate the sensation and draw out the Super Saiyan power without needing to be angry. So yes, you got it right. Dragon Ball fans are mad at Caulifla for doing a Cell Saga Goku feat. You can't make this up. You literally can't make this up. Do we not remember when Trunks asked Goku if he could transform to Super Saiyan on his own accord, and Goku was like, at first it was like hard to do, but eventually he got the hang of it, and now he could just transform without the need of being angry? Like, come on, you think that Goten and Trunks are just angry every time they transform? We talked about this. We've talked about this time and time again. Caulifla is a genius. She's a prodigy. It makes sense that she's able to do something like this. It's even funnier is that when they try to teach Kale the exact same method, it doesn't work, to which Caulifla says, we should try the other way. Showing the audience that Super Saiyan isn't just 2 + 2, but also 2 × 2. Showing us that we can arrive to the same conclusion via different methods. And the other method works. Kale goes Super Saiyan with an emotional trigger. But for some reason, Dragon Ball fans perceive this as it's only one way or the highway. Everything is explained and shown properly. The only issue is the person that's watching.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sensu Bean Cartel, aka SBC. I'm your host, Haikusen, and today I'm going to be talking about what can happen in a potential Planet Sadala arc. So without further ado, let's talk about it. I feel that it's been pretty much guaranteed that this arc was coming ever since Vegeta first met Kaba. I mean, the writers choosing to keep it relevant since the last episode is even more of a concrete possibility. So here are my thoughts on a Planet Sadala arc. Regardless of how the Tournament of Power ends, I feel that Universe 6 and 7 at least will be fine. Honestly, I feel that they may combine all of the universes at the end of the tournament. I mean, it makes perfect sense due to the amount of story content that can freaking happen from them doing this. Anyways, after the Tournament of Power is eventually over, the show will lead to Vegeta going to planet Sadala. Being that Vegeta is the Saiyan matriarch, I feel that this arc will mostly revolve around him and his interactions with the inhabitants on planet Sadala and the revelations that will come from it. Once Vegeta and possibly Goku, I'm sure Goku's going to tag along, he's the main character, once they both arrive to planet Sadala, the first thing that's going to come to Vegeta's mind is how rustic and peaceful the planet looks. Throughout his journey, there will be scenes of how Vegeta is comparing how he remembers his home planet to be and how different things are here now. Eventually, he will arrive to, let's say, the main kingdom of the Saiyans. Once here, Vegeta will be awestruck with how everyone works in harmony, and of course, the writing will emphasize on the different temperament of the Saiyans. Once the scene passes, Vegeta will stand outside of the main HQ, where the King of Saiyans resides. This will naturally cause Vegeta to develop anxiety about the whole ordeal. At this point, they are creating a build-up for Vegeta to meet the King, and it is at this point when the camera slowly pans to the King. And it is at this very moment a very reminiscent figure of his father appears. This ultimately will be a very saddening moment for Vegeta, as he will recall the traumatic events of his past and ultimately the death of his father. Vegeta may be overwhelmed with sadness, but at the same time, he'll be proud to see what another universe variant of his father looks like without the tyranny of Frieza. Once this is said and done, Vegeta will share his events of his universe and what has happened to all of the other Saiyans outside of himself and Kakarot. During his explanation, it may even do flashbacks to when he and Nappa would visit the other planets, all to reveal that a character appearing somewhere in the main room is an alternate variant of Nappa, who looks to resemble him but has a more reserved character. During further conversation with the would-be reminiscent King Vegeta, the character that resembles Goku appears, except his demeanor is very civil and intelligent. This Goku characters and our Goku from Universe 7 would be night and day variants of each other. However, I don't foresee this being a bad Goku, as it's already pre-established that the Saiyans here are peaceful. Ultimately, the direction I just smacked the mic here. Ultimately, the direction that I would guess this arc is going to take is that all is not what it seems to be, and that there are characters trying to cause events from behind the scenes, ultimately trying to cause a war in the all too peaceful kingdom. I feel that this is going to be a great arc, and it's going to give the ability to the writers to, bring characters back that necessarily wouldn't be back. Maybe we're going to see, an alternate Raditz.
Good to see. How you
and,
doing?
Maybe they are
Y'all
going
go
to
check
do,
out
maybe
Only
for all
Hope
we know,
is
Kale
in
has
prayer.
a brother,
Appreciate you
and
coming
he's
by
going
and
to
saying hi.
resemble, Brawley as well. For all we know, they could even introduce a character who is, maybe very reminiscent of Bardock. There's just a lot that could happen, and there's things that you can't rule out. There may even be characters from other universes in this particular universe. They're really starting to, introduce, traveling between the universes. So it could be possible that maybe characters or Saiyans who were in Universe 7 somehow ended up in Universe 6. Yes, just thought. I'm not really betting on that. But, you just got to use a little bit of imagination. I personally think this arc will be one of my favorites. I mean, granted, the current, Universe Power arc and, the Goku Black arc were great arcs, but I think this is really going to fill a lot of plot holes or create a whole new realm of events that can happen in the show. But, that's just my thoughts, guys. Just kind of wanted to just get these thoughts out of my head and share it with you guys. If you guys think something different's going to happen, or if you think the arc's not even going to happen, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. All in all, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thinking back, I definitely call Vegeta a matriarch. I meant patriarch.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say nothing about that part, but It happens. I mean, you mix up your words sometimes.
You're watching Unrelent Gaming. This is Beerus, the god of destruction. Make sure you subscribe to Unrelent Gaming and push the like button for me, or else I'll Hakai you from existence. Oh, and to make sure to watch the entire video all the way through, and follow Unrelent Gaming on both Instagram and Twitter. Please, enough.
On the gram and the
On to
Twitter.
the video.
With Universe 7's Vegeta taking it upon himself in helping the Universe 6 Saiyans of Planet Sadala get stronger, there is a terrifying threat looming over the horizon in which Vegeta is not knowing of, as seen on the previous manga chapter video. Kaba, Kale, and Caulifla continue to train under Vegeta's guidance in his orders for them to get stronger. The hidden Neo machines behind the scenes are doing what they can in order to take over before the Great Invasion, but the question going forward is what kind of sinister plans are the Neo machines that just so happen to infect the king are up to, and will they be able to have the numbers advantage along with sustaining enough power in taking Vegeta and his comrades down? Now, before we dive any further into this video, if you are new to the channel and of course have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball and anime related, and want to be kept up to date with everything in regards to Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball Super manga, and everything involving the Dragon Ball IP, then I do encourage you guys to go on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a single video on this channel, as well as giving this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you guys are simply stoked, ready, and excited to see what the future holds in regards to the Dragon Ball franchise. And with all that being said, I want to thank you all so much for your support, and let's dive straight into the video. As our story kicks off with a massive machine having to be overseen by both King Sadala and his underling, in which, as they did, one of the individuals speaking to King Sadala went on to tell him the machine is fixed. If you are interested, I think I can improve this thing in every way. As King Sadala responds, you aren't doing this out of the kindness of your heart. So what's the catch? There is always a catch. As his underling responds, yeah, this is definitely fishy. As the individual responds, well, really all I want is revenge, and you have partially given it to me. But if I may, I need a Gardenian that hates the Saiyans for my plan. If you could bring me one, I think I could help you immensely. And besides, we Tecteans have a lot in common with you Tuffles. We harvested planets for their resources before being driven to near extinction on this planet. We are nothing alike, says King Sadala. You think you know us? You are mistaken. Yo, sis, says the underling, that shockwave. You think that planet Sadala was destroyed? That might put a dent in our plans. As King Sadala responds, it's possible. But a shock like that seems too big for a measly planetary explosion. As the Tectean responds, I've studied the Saiyan ships, and it appears that they all share an artificial intelligence network for communication and security purposes. If I can get a hold of the AI, I can use the same security systems to check on Sadala. Are you talking about that annoying robot on their ship, Sadala asks. We shut him down. Let's see what you can do, King Sadala says. Child's play, the Tectean responds. We're in. And that's exactly what the little guy had done, because then we get to see how the camera in fact works. And as we observe on the planet, the Neo machines along with the Tectean are overseeing how Vegeta is in fact prepping the Sadala army, and King Sadala cannot believe it, because King Sadala has yet to meet Vegeta, as he went on to ask, is that? And with Vegeta shown having to slowly turn his head, and ironically enough having to see directly into the camera, or at least that's what it appears, because everyone there had assumed that Vegeta was looking at them. It was only right then and there, all of a sudden there was an explosion, and King Sadala immediately remembers Vegeta, as he then went on to tell the Tectean, I need all of the footage from Planet Sadala immediately. As you wish, the Tectean says. As all the while on the same planets that King Sadala is on, the species of the planet is then shown having to be invaded by the Saiyans, who in fact are infected by the Neo Machines. As the current inhabitants went on to flee by shouting, "Well, I get to say it, I told you so." "What's going on?" the Elder responds. "It's the Saiyans. They've betrayed us. I knew this would happen, and now we're being under attack." "No," the Elder says. "This can't be right. There must be an answer for this. I don't care what the reason is. I'm going to fight back. Let go of me." As even the Saiyans had gone on to notice something very unusual, as one of them went on to comment, "Something doesn't feel right about this, you guys. Take your hands off of her." And as soon as we get to see how an all-out brawl then begins involving the Saiyans and the current inhabitants of the planet, we get to observe how one of the inhabitants then begins to transform as he utters, you monsters. We trusted you. I won't forgive you." As one of the Saiyans responds, "Yo, chill out, kid. We can talk about this. We are just following orders." But then it was already too late, because this individual went on to transform as one of the other natives went on to shout, "Get away from me." "I'm done talking," the warrior says. "Whoa, this isn't good," the Saiyans respond. "Don't think we can't fight back." But then the warrior actually ends up getting behind the Saiyans fast enough and having to respond, "I won't repeat myself again. I'm done talking." And he begins to lay it on the Saiyans, as even one of them on the floor went on to comment, King Sadala, "Sir, we need help." In which thus far the narrative implies that the Saiyans are being manipulated, and even the species on this current planet are completely oblivious to the fact that all of this is a coup, all of this is a ploy, and even not knowing the fact that their own king had been killed by King Sadala just moments ago. But even then they're trying to calm down Tarragon, as one of the individuals responds, "What happened to Tarragon?" "He has become a godly Gardenian," one of the elders says. "He has absorbed a massive amount of energy from the sun, but the longer he uses it, the more dehydrated he becomes, and he will eventually burn away. I can't believe the Saiyans have turned on us. We should have listened to Tarragon. We need to find a place to get away from here. If we don't, we're toast." As the elder responds, "I heard the Saiyans saying that something wasn't right. I'm sure the answers will be revealed soon." And as we then go back to Tarragon, who then notices how there is an individual in the sky, this individual turns out to be none other than King Sadala, who, which, mind you, is infected by one of the Neo Machines and has a plan up his sleeve. As King Sadala went on to respond, "So you are no ordinary Gardenian." As Sadala went on to touch down, he then continues, "You must really hate us Saiyans after all that, huh? Trying to protect someone here," he asks. And as Sadala is shown creating an energy ball above him, he then proceeded in throwing this right behind Tarragon, in which it went on to destroy a building behind him that in fact he was trying to protect. And Tarragon was pissed, because he was not going to stand for King Sadala doing this, as he went on to rush on him by shouting, "You monster!" But then Tarragon stopped in his tracks and fell right back down onto the ground and burning himself out, as King Sadala overseen this by asking, "Get too hot?" because he knows that Tarragon had now burned himself out. And as soon as King Sadala then went on to grab onto Tarragon and picking him up, he then went on to comment, "You will be much more useful to us alive." And as King Sadala then takes his leave, the others went on to ask, "Are you convinced now, old man?" "No," the elder says, "but we still should lay low." As King Sadala is then shown bringing Tarragon back to an unknown location, that's when his underling went on to ask, "You're back. We've reviewed all of the footage and things have definitely changed." "He's burnt out," says the Tectean. "It looks like this Gardenian has transformed, but he's still alive. I know that power well. It's exactly what we need." "Perfect. Do whatever you want with him," says King Sadala, "but you work for us now." "Yes, of course. You remember that scientist that was hired to program us? I kept his blood and did a little programming myself. He's going to Sadala to test the machine's effectiveness. That way we don't lose a perfectly good Tuffle." "All right then, Plum," says Sadala. "You have your orders. Now go. You don't need a ship with your new body, and if you can't take out that Vegeta, then don't come back." And as soon as Plum obeyed his orders and then taking his leave and venturing off to planet Sadala, that's when King Sadala went on to continue, "I don't trust that puppet. This machine. It should only be used to revive Tuffles. We are the superior power in this universe. Vegeta has already pushed the Saiyan's power to greater heights, but whether that power is worth our time is another question. I know exactly who we need, King Sadala says, as he then remembers a familiar foe in which went on to battle Vegeta. It was only then, right then and there, where King Sadala had the idea in bringing Hit forward and taking out Vegeta, because as soon as Hit went on to open up his hand and finding out who his next target was, coincidentally enough, it happened to be none other than Vegeta, and with Hit having to oversee this, that's when he went on to comment, well, interesting, as only then the Beyond Dragon Ball Super V Planet Sadala manga chapter special then comes to a close. Now, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. Hit is going to be going after Vegeta, which I find more interesting than anything else because, make no mistake about it, these two in fact do have a history, but we never ever got to see anything from them after the events of Universe 6 versus Universe 7, so I can't wait to see what Jordan Lee and Monty Black have in store for Vegeta and Hit, because you can only imagine with Vegeta's new power that he should by now be effortlessly able to stomp out Hit, right? Now, unless of course Hit knows of some sort of a new ability or some sort of a new tactic to be able to put Vegeta down, then it's bound to be a slugfest either way, and to see King Sadala actually have this orchestrated plan behind the scenes in one to bring some fortunes back, on top of the idea that he wants to go on ahead and rule with an iron fist. So in the comment section below, what I want to know from you guys right now is, between Hit and Vegeta, which in fact are two big fan favorite characters within the actual community, is who do you guys want to see win this fight? Do you guys want to see Hit actually beat Vegeta, or do you want to see Vegeta beat Hit? And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are going to ask and want to see Vegeta stomp out Hit, and if that ends up being the case, then I really do hope that it's not a one-shot, one-stomp kind of thing, and that these two actually go back and forth once, of course, they end up battling. So in the comment section below, I do want to go ahead and get your feedback. As always, if you guys are new to the channel, then I do encourage you guys to go on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single video posted on the channel, as well as giving this video a big fat thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you guys are simply excited to see what's about to happen next, as I am myself as well, and I really can't wait to see how this interaction is going to go. So again, be sure to also follow the creators. I will also leave their links located down in the description box below as well. So thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you down the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, guys, and have a great day. Peace. And a quick little reminder before you exit the video, if you guys are unaware, follow me on my secondary channels, which are also used to discuss and talk about all kinds of different subjects and topics, including gaming and live streams, beginning with Unreal Network, which is a channel dedicated in discussing all kinds of movies, breakdowns, current events, scary stories, theories, and more. So if you are someone who is into the entertainment world, then that's the channel for you. So head on over and subscribe over on Unreal Network, which up next is Unreal Vlogs, where I bring you guys a little closer into my life in taking you behind the scenes with vlogging content, parody videos, reactions, motivational videos, uplifting videos, and more. So if you want to get to know me on more of a personal level, then that's the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button to always be in the loop with Unreal Vlogs. And lastly, my gaming channel, Unreal Royale, where on that channel we dive more into the world of gaming, ranging from all different kinds of video games, from Dragon Ball to Resident Evil to Grand Theft Auto, Halo, Gears of War, Minecraft, all kinds of horror games, shooters, RPGs, and more, including live streams. So if you're a gamer and are into the gaming world, then smash that subscribe button over at Unreal Royale and experience the ride with me. I want to thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so very much for your support, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you in the next video.
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to Unrelent Gaming.
Also follow Unrelent Gaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead. Oh, did someone say Unrelent Gaming? Oh my god.
The fuck, someone? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
I don't need clothes. Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Freezer, prepare to die!
But once you get video, lots of likes, or Bill will turn you into chocolate! Vados, get over here! Tell these mortals that I'm the biggest Unreal Gaming fan. This is my moment. I'm a part of his notification squad. Universe 7 can have all the fun. I just want the food.
And don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Show some love for the best community on YouTube.
Kakarot!
Fight me for a while so you can compare my strength to his. Right off the bat, huh? Sure, sounds good to me.
Cool, future me, make us proud.
You're pretty strong, aren't you? I'm not. Even at this stage, I'm a joke to Black, so... I figured this one out after you left. I call it Super Saiyan 3.
See how quickly he did that
I
time?
thought that was the limit of our power, but now you've gone beyond...
Just yell for 30 minutes with fucking boots for no reason.
Attack me with everything you
Trying to
got.
divert time. Time diverting.
He stopped my full power strike with his fingers.
Said Black's as strong as a Super Saiyan 3.
You're watching Unrelent Gaming. This is Beerus, the god of destruction. Make sure you subscribe to
Not the
Unrelent
finger
Gaming
tips,
and
because I'm
push the
nothing
like
to him.
button for me, or else I'll hakai you from existence. Oh, and to make sure to watch the entire video all the way through, and follow Unrelent Gaming on both Instagram and Twitter. Please, enough. On to the video.
As the multiverse now prepares for the coming battle involving the former gods of destruction and the mother of the angels, our heroes are now tasked with going into different universes and getting as much training as they possibly can. But even with our heroes now preparing and trying to do what they can to get better before the coming war, the question going forward is how far can our heroes go in recruiting as many people as they can to join them? And on top of that, is it possible for our heroes to become much more powerful than they've ever had in becoming the greatest they can possibly be? Before we dive any further into this video, if you are new to the channel and of course have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball related, including its manga, anime, video games, fan animations, fan mangas, and more, in which would also like to be kept up to date with everything in regards to the Dragon Ball Super manga, the Dragon Ball Super anime, Dragon Ball video games, and any and all additional content within the Dragon Ball universe, then I do encourage you guys to head on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to always be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto the channel, as well as giving this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you guys are simply excited to see what the future holds for the Dragon Ball franchise. And with all that being said, I want to thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. And now let's dive straight into the video. As our story continues within Universe 6, as earlier on Planet Sadala we get to observe how Kaba and Caulifla seem to have detected a very familiar energy that seems to be emanating from the distance, as Caulifla went on to ask, what the hell is he doing here? Caulifla, was that? Well, there's your idol who just smashed up members of our people, she says. My idol? Who are you talking about? As back within the Sadala city, Vegeta went on to respond, be kind. Stop being childish and bring me to your king. I have no time to lose. And with Caulifla shown absolutely losing her mind, with Kappa shown having to hold her back, in a fit of rage, Caulifla tried to attack Vegeta by shouting and asking, what's wrong with you? You've just beaten up my buddies and now you're giving us orders? There's something off about this girl, he says. What kind of a rabid dog is she? Let me go, Kaba. I'll gut him. It's okay, Mr. Vegeta. I've got her, says Kaba. And with Vegeta then having to turn his focus towards Kale, he then went on to ask her, Kale, while these two are acting out, can you get me to the king? Okay, Caulifla says. I'll calm down. For real, Kaba asks. If you say so, don't let her go, Kaba, Vegeta says. But even then, it was already too late, because in a fit of rage, what Caulifla does is Caulifla completely acts out in a fit of rage by dashing at Vegeta by shouting, bastard! Because it was clear by now that Vegeta had definitely insulted Caulifla's ego here by damaging it so much so, but even then, it did not prevent Caulifla from dashing directly towards Vegeta, but even then, as soon as Vegeta ends up turning into a Super Saiyan, with one simple kick to the face, Vegeta had gone on to demonstrate the fruits of his growth by showing her that the current situation at hand does not call for them to bicker or for them to argue, but instead, Vegeta really wants to meet King Sadala, and in order for him to do so, he has to in some kind of way be able to calm Caulifla down, and that's exactly what he had done, because as soon as Caulifla dropped on down to the ground, Kale could not believe it and having to utter, "Sis, are you alright, Caulifla?" Kaba shouts, and as soon as Kaba is then shown picking her up, Vegeta strongly emphasized on wanting to do what he had set out to come here for, as Vegeta went on to comment, "What are you waiting for? Don't make me repeat." As meanwhile, elsewhere, while this is happening on planet Sadala, over on planet Pillar, we then see how Universe 6's mightiest assassin Hit seems to be looking for someone, as coincidentally enough, Hit seems to be looking for none other than Frost, with Frost shown hiding behind a tree. It's as clear as day that Frost seems to be hiding from Hit, as he does not want to be found by him, but it seems as though Hit already kind of knows as to what is going on within the area, as Frost seems to be observing. Frost then comments, "It's hot as hell in here. I can barely breathe." But that's when Frost went on to observe, and noticing that Hit was just about to perform what seemingly was an assassination technique that not only caused Frost in going in a state of panic, but that's when Frost went on to comment, "He's about to use an assassination technique." But unbeknownst to Frost, instead, out of nowhere, Hit ends up popping up right in front of Frost by having to place his hand near his neck and demanding for answers, as Hit went on to put this into question by asking Frost, "Tell me, do you have any other brilliant ideas for tailing a man born to hunt?" "Who hired you?" Hit asks. "Okay, calm down, will you?" Frost says. "Nobody hired me. I only work for myself. In fact, I want my revenge." So this is very similar to the episode we've seen prior to the Tournament of Power, where a similar kind of situation had occurred with Hit having to recruit Frost on his team. As we then venture on back to planet Sadala, it would only now seem as though Vegeta was in fact brought to the exact location where King Sadala was, as Vegeta went on to ask, "We've arrived, you say? I don't see anything." "Look down," Kaba says, and with Vegeta then shown doing exactly that, we then bear witness to the massive palace that King Sadala has, which is without question one of the most beautiful looking things that you could ever find within a Dragon Ball fan manga, especially with all of the details shown as Sadala's Space Force seems to be flying on by. There are other Saiyans walking on down below, and with Vegeta having to spot this, he seems to appear very small by comparison to how large this place actually is, and with Vegeta then shown smiling, Kaba had proceeded in spotting several of his comrades, as Kaba shouts, "Hey Sprouts! Can you take us to the king?" Which of course they do. However, inside of this ship, one of the Saiyans went on to ask, "So, Mr. Vegeta, right? I've never seen you here before. Where are you from?" "It's
Prince
normal," Vegeta
Vegeta.
responds. "I never came. I'm from another universe." "Huh? You must be kidding, right? You almost got me." But Vegeta, in fact, was not joking around, as he went on to give this Saiyan a serious look. That's when the Saiyan went on to respond, "I see. I overreacted again." As all the while this entire time, Caulifla had just so happened to have been knocked out, until all of a sudden Caulifla had then snapped back into her own, and noticing none other than Vegeta having to sit in front of her, and as she did, once again Caulifla had then gone on to spaz out by having to shout, "Vegeta, you crazy bastard, you kidnapped me? If you think you're gonna get away with it, damn it, Kaba," Vegeta says, "hold her back." "That's what I'm trying to do, Mr. Vegeta. I'll crush you," Caulifla shouts, which is ironically funny because as they're trying to descend on down into the palace in meeting King Sadala himself, there seems to be a royal rumble going on within this very small little tightly knit ship, which all of the other Saiyans that are watching this go down are observing the fight happen within this small little ship, as even one of planet Sadala's defense guards went on to ask, "Shall I warn the king?" "No need to bother him," one of the Saiyans responds. "If only I had a coin for every time a jester desecrated this palace." As meanwhile, later on within the palace, we then see how there is an individual that is led by a few guards alongside a smaller individual, as the smaller individual went on to respond, "Look, Lord Sadala, a strange individual claiming to come from from another universe requests an audience. Fine, the king says. Good. He's waiting for you in the main hall. In that case, let's go to him. As for the first time ever, we finally then get to meet the ruler and king of the entire Saiyan population over within Universe 6 on planet Sadala, known as King Sadala himself, which from a physical perspective, King Sadala appears to be absolutely massive. As he went on to open the doors of the hall, it was only there where King Sadala had ran into Kale, Kappa, Caulifla, and of course Vegeta, who was waiting for him, with of course Vegeta turning his head and finally meeting the king as the king is menacingly making his way ever so towards Vegeta. If there's any takeaways from this, I will say King Sadala has to be without question one of the absolute coolest looking Saiyans that I think I've ever seen, because he resembles that of Vegeta's father, King Vegeta from Universe 7, but at the same time, he appears to be wearing royalty, he has a giant face, and as soon as King Sadala then went on to approach Vegeta, King Sadala then went on to tell him, "Let me introduce myself. I am King Sadala, and you, what is your name?" As Vegeta went on to respond, Vegeta. And as the two then went on to shake hands, it is very clear at that point that King Sadala easily has to be right around Piccolo's height in terms of size difference, because by comparison to some of the other Saiyans, King Sadala is absolutely massive. As he then went on to continue, "Young traveler, I heard you came straight from another universe. What is your story? What are you doing in this place?" As Vegeta responds, "I have no time to lose with your stories. I came for listening to," King Sadala says, "or telling a story is never a waste of time. Is it?" And with Vegeta shown looking on eerily quiet, he then continues, "In that case, tell me yours. I had never seen a palace built in this depth before." With King Sadala responding, "There is a reason for that. Our people have not always known this place." And with the flashback then being shown, King Sadala continues, "I don't know how Saiyans are in your universe, but in this one, we ruled through submission and violence. Indeed, I was once an illustrious warrior driven by my thirst for battle and power. We were just a wild race, our essence being battles, we were losing our minds. Ancestral tales from our planet refer to monkey tales, but it seems that by the simple fact that we did not use this power, we would have lost it over time. The people were divided," he adds, "so King Sadala of this era proved once again his legitimacy by bringing the whole world together by even interspecies alliances and stood up to opponents thanks to this interbreeding. In the beginning, I was just a simple army general adhering to the king's ideals and supporting him. With unparalleled loyalty, I rose through the ranks and was recognized as the right-hand man of our king. The years passed, and from battlefield to battlefield, I saw my brothers in arms being killed while my loyalty to my king grew stronger. I was used to seeing blood. Let the scar on my face be my witness. But this time was one too many. He called himself Grykin the Bloody. He was the man who hated the king more than his own demons. Eternal runner-up, the king had beaten him again and again. But to have sparred this man each time was fatal for him. But I could not bear it. Night and day, I hunted him down, driven by my hatred. But to my amazement, the relief I coveted by killing him was ultimately an illusion. Shoving my fist into his stomach did not fill the void I felt. When I removed it, I saw nothing but the emptiness of an endless tunnel. This shape, which was engraved in my memory, gave its shape to the current Sadala Palace, which basically indicates here that because King Sadala had gone on to punch a hole directly through this individual's stomach, after later removing his fist and taking a look at what had happened, this was the inspiration needed in order for the new king to build his palace where it was. As King Sadala then went on to continue, since the previous King Sadala had not sired any offspring, and because of my inheritable position, my people voted unanimously for me to succeed him. Even today, I can't look at myself without thinking of all of my lost brothers. When I came into power, I vowed to perpetuate the ideals of our former king and to put an end to all of these childish wars and to reunite our camps. The braid I wear, I make it every morning to remember it and stick to it. A Saiyan who does not stand by his convictions is a usurper. All this talk to tell you that I think I know why you came to us, but it will be without us. Goodbye." But right before King Sadala could finish, Vegeta went on to interrupt by telling him, "I'm starting to understand. You're afraid of death."
And this really went on to shock everybody, Kaba, the defense guards, and even King Sadala himself, as Sadala went on to ask, what, how dare you? But with Vegeta being who he is, he didn't care in the slightest because he kept grinning at the king until, to the surprise of many, with Vegeta slowly being shown having to descend on down to the floor, he was then beginning to have flashbacks on the days of when he had come to Earth and the days of when he had first achieved Super Saiyan, to only then realize that what Vegeta was doing was, for the first time, Vegeta had then gone on to take a knee in bowing down to King Sadala, to the shock of everyone, including Caulifla, as Caulifla went on to say to herself, what? Vegeta's bending over? King of Sadala, Vegeta says, father of Saiyans, I implore you, whatever we do, thousands will die. It's up to us to act so that it's not our own. A king who doesn't keep his promises is a usurper. As all a while back with Hit and Frost on planet Nibor, we then observe how Hit seems to be walking with Frost in this very desolate-like place where the snowstorm and the blizzard seems to be very heavy, as Frost went on to tell Hit, you could do that for me though, no? At least teach me one thing. Just one assassination trick, I beg you. No, Hit says. How am I going to make him suffer if you don't help me, Frost asks. Do it yourself and let me do my job. I get it, Frost says. That's your technique of making me suffer, right? No, Hit responds. I see. It's a shame. I thought we were friends. You might need some, by the way. You're alone all the time. It's depressing. If you say so, Hit responds. You know, you and I aren't so different, Frost adds. I know how it feels to be forced into a mold, which is why my species does not allow itself to be done under any circumstance. I'm telling you all of this because it almost sounds like you don't like your job, or even your life, perhaps, Frost says. And this really went on to capture Hit for a moment, but with Hit then quickly having to shift his focus and keeping his eye on the prize, he then responds, if you say so. As meanwhile, back within Jocko's ship, as of course we now understand that Bulma, Broly, Sheila, and Jocko are making their way to planet Sadala, that's when Bulma went on to ask Jocko, how long will the trip take? 2 more days, Jocko says. You're funny when you want to be, Jocko, so for real, Jocko says. No joke. What? I hope you remember to bring supplies, Bulma shouts. No, Jocko says, I just replenished my chocolate bars. With this, I could easily just chow on this for days. Seriously, Bulma asks? You're not gonna bother me too much, huh? As with Broly shown eating in the back, he then went on to respond, if you want, I took 6 legs of a weird spider. I could give you some. I ate well before leaving. There's juice, too, if you're thirsty, he says. But everyone on the ship is completely grossed out because Broly, of course, eats spiders, while everyone else seems to be eating normal food, with Broly giving the okay. As the trip is then shown continuing for our heroes, Bulma then comments, it'll be a long journey, as we then make our way back to King Sadala, who is shown very angry. One of his defense guards went on to ask, shall we act? If someone has to act, it will not be you, King Sadala says. Go on, young man. You interest me. You've heard the same thing we all have. So whether you like it or not, Vegeta says, war will take place. And you should know that this is not just a civil war between Saiyans. So here's my question. What will you do when the enemy enters your land? Welcome them with a white flag? As pacifist as you want to be, if you are really one of those whose king you claim to be, your instinct will never allow you to do so. I can't guarantee that nobody will die, but I swear to make each and every one of you my people, worthy of the name. I might not work miracles, Vegeta says, but I'll make sure that all of us can look after our own. There's a lot of hidden potential among you, I'm sure about that. As even Caulifla herself is shocked by what Vegeta is saying, it was only then during that moment where everyone, including Kale, Caulifla, Kaba, and even Vegeta, had sensed a massive power coming from the king, as of course the king himself was extremely angered by what Vegeta had said in such a way that you could kind of almost feel the rage and the anger and the power coming through and emanating from his body. Not only was the entire palace then shown shaking, but the entire
entire landscape of planet Sadala as well, as both Kale and Kaba are showing themselves from the king's overwhelming force of power. Vegeta, on the other hand, is just simply casually standing there waiting for the outcome of what was about to happen, and as he did, King Sadala had then finally gone on to calm down and then responding, "Gather the whole of Sadala's special forces. I'll announce them," he says, and with Vegeta shown standing eerily quiet as King Sadala made his exit, Vegeta then went on to smile by telling him, "You won't regret it." "I do not live with regrets," Saiyan says Sadala, in which I love the overall tension and the bravado that both of these individuals seem to have, as of course Vegeta did in fact pay his respects to the king, to where by the very end King Sadala had promised Vegeta exactly that, and he had gathered the largest possible armada that he could of Saiyans that existed on planet Sadala, as King Sadala is shown addressing the massive army by shouting, "Listen to me all, this is a call to all the special forces." And with the question then lingering on whether or not Vegeta will be able to prove his legitimacy to everyone, it was only right then and there during that moment where the Dragon Ball Kakumi manga chapter number 4 special then comes to a close. Now, this was unquestionably one of the most entertaining and fascinating manga chapters, I would argue, for Dragon Ball Kakumi, only because not only did we see a very tense interaction between King Sadala and Vegeta, but on top of that, Vegeta actually paid respects in bowing down to King Sadala and following the rules of planet Sadala, even though one may argue to say that Vegeta is the strongest among everyone there. Needless to say, he still went ahead to follow the rules anyway, rather than having to act very brash and very egotistical. And with King Sadala more or less explaining his past and how he doesn't want to lose any more men, Vegeta, on the other hand, is reassuring him that, yeah, in this upcoming war, we are bound to lose people regardless of what's about to happen. That's just the stakes of the nature. But he will, in fact, reassure King Sadala and his people that, unlike the threat at hand, they will remain as they are and not be destroyed. So something's bound to give here. Either King Sadala is going to test Vegeta by having him go up against several different Saiyans, or perhaps maybe King Sadala himself might be shown fighting Vegeta, and I really cannot wait to see what Vegeta has to do in order to prove his legitimacy and to kind of prove his worth to this new king, only because Vegeta is not from this planet. Vegeta is not even from that universe. So the level of detail and art for this chapter, again, was second to none. The dialogue was actually a lot better by comparison to some of the other chapters, and with even Broly and the others now just about 2 days away from arriving on planet Sadala, one can only imagine how everything is going to be like once Broly and the others arrive. So again, I want to go ahead and get your thoughts in the comment section below about what it is that you guys expect to see. On top of that, by also checking out and following the creators of this entire project, in which I will leave their links located down in the description box below on Twitter and Instagram. They are absolutely fantastic, and just in case you're kind of wondering as to where you guys could read this, those links will also be located down in the description box below as well, so make sure you guys head on over and check that out. Again, if you guys are new, smash that subscribe button if you guys love Dragon Ball Kakumi, as well as giving this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below. If you simply cannot wait for Dragon Ball Kakumi manga chapter number 5, which will be released on December 25th. So this upcoming Christmas is going to be a very special one for all of us, because only then are we going to find out what the heck is going to happen involving several of our characters, who are now once again in several different universes, training and trying to persuade others to join them on this mission in fighting for the sake of good. So again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for being here. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you down the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, guys, and have a great day. Peace. And the quick little reminder before you exit the video, if you guys are unaware, follow me on my secondary channels, which are also used to discuss and talk about all kinds of different subjects and topics, including gaming and live streams, beginning with Unreal Network, which is a channel dedicated in discussing all kinds of movies, breakdowns, current events, scary stories, theories, and more. So if you are someone who is into the entertainment world, then that's the channel for you. So head on over and subscribe over on Unreal Network, which up next is Unreal Vlogs, where I bring you guys a little closer into my life in taking you behind the scenes with vlogging content, parody videos, reactions, motivational videos, uplifting videos, and more. So if you want to get to know me on more of a personal level, then that's the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button to always be in the loop with Unreal Vlogs. And lastly, my gaming channel, Unreal Royale, where on that channel we dive more into the world of gaming, ranging from all different kinds of video games, from Dragon Ball to Resident Evil to Grand Theft Auto, Halo, Gears of War, Minecraft, all kinds of horror games, shooters, RPGs, and more, including live streams. So if you're a gamer and are into the gaming world, then smash that subscribe button over at Unreal Royale and experience the ride with me. I want to thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so very much for your support, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you in the next video.
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to Unrelent Gaming.
Also follow Unrelent Gaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead. Oh, did someone say Unrelent Gaming? Oh my god.
The fuck, someone? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes. Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Freezer,
Uh-oh.
prepare to die!
Unreal Gaming, but once you get video, lots of likes, or Bill will turn you into chocolate.
Vados, get over here. Tell these mortals that I'm the biggest Unreal Gaming fan. This is my moment. I'm a part of his notification squad. Universe 7 can have all the fun. I just want the food.
And don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Show some love for the best community on YouTube.
Kakarot!
Y'all already know to go hit up that big homie at DJ Is Get These Beats. Appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? This is right here, one of our favorites. How we end every show.
Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to
Of
stay.
course, y'all gotta go check him out on that daily because he'll have something for you to
In the bedroom, on the floor.
put on and vibe to, right?
When you're far away, I'll always have a place for you to stay.
Yeah, like I said, I got this Universe 6 exploration style data book coming up. We'll probably get that in the works because I already outlined of 10 points. Yeah, we're gonna start off between the twins, fucking with Beerus and Champa. Over here, give a little bit of their backstory and history, because you know that makes sense. And you got Cobbler and Ward, because you know your boy Cobbler put in that work. Shout out to that work being put in. You know what I mean? And you got Hits update, because Hits getting paid out here. You know, Hit. The boy name is Hit, so you know, drop shit. Yeah, then you got so many warriors, you know, exploring Universe 6 is what we're gonna be talking about. You know what I mean? So, hey, you got all the fucking Saiyans. And then you got every race that never was conscious until you go back and look through them, right? Right. Then you got Saturn's new ranking system, because you know they got the people that can do Super Saiyan, and you got base, blah 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 blah, and that'll all be explained to you know the people, because you know what I mean. Then you got the Scouts Arrival, because you know who the fuck is gonna be the main fucking villains. You know what I mean? You can't be too far in the list without talking about the villains. And so they're gonna have their scouts arrive. Shout out to them being scouts, because you know the same scouters, scouts arrive type shit. And guess who the enemy is? It's gonna be the tough ones. And you know about the tough ones, they got some technology. Shout out to having tech. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah. Then we have part of that tech is going to be a de-evolution type being. Some Mazarus pop up in Universe 6. The fucking giant monkeys in Universe. I don't know. They're going to be in the story somewhere. Then we're going to have a roast. Because, you know, Mazarus put up on Universe 6. It's with the Mazarus. Then, you know, the people going to be like, well, how we saw that. And then somebody in the real class is going to solve it. And then, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to see Vegeta's around to the king of Saiyans on the planet, because, you know, that's who they're going to be talking to, baby. You know what I mean? Anyways, y'all already know to hit up to buy me a coffee, because, you know, support your boy, get you a free gift over there, because, you know, you ain't got to buy nothing. You just got to go support to buy me a coffee, right? Right. That way I might, start some memberships up or whatever. They already started up, but we might get some. You know how we get them. You got to tell them. You know what I mean? But anyways, go pick up the freebies on the Buy Me a Coffee. Hit the link in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know to do the YouTube thing, 'cause we'll be on YouTube doing the thing.